What's going on, everyone? Welcome to this video. This is the first video on the Backyard Flow YouTube channel. I've always wanted to start creating content on YouTube specifically, and here we are. Finally had some time to be able to do so. And if you're a fencing company or a decking company watching this video, this is specifically for you. I'm going to cover the main common misconceptions that people have with Angie's Home Advisor and kind of how they work, like the bigger companies, and then also what the best way to essentially get a lot of jobs coming in consistently, make a lot more money, essentially get to the point where the business can make multi-million dollars a year, scale it, maybe even sell it if that is the goal. But that's the goal with this video, to kind of go over that, go over the tips and tricks, and yeah, let's dive into it. The first thing I want to do is just kind of go over the main things that I've kind of heard all the time from companies like Home Advisor, Yelp, Angie's, Thumbtack, you name it, right? All the big box. The first thing is obviously that the leads or the contacts that you get are not exclusive, right? And the reason they're not exclusive is because all these companies, they work as what we call in the marketing world, a umbrella company. And what that means is that they are advertising themselves. And when they advertise themselves, it is a lot more beneficial for them as a company to sell that same contact to 5, 6 different contractors where they can make the same amount of money 5, 6 times more. So essentially, if Angie's is selling a lead for $50 and they sell it to 10 guys, they're going to make $500 off that same lead. However, a company that is specifically just working with one company, they will not do that anymore. They will just make $50 off that lead. So yes, they'll make less, but it's going to be a lot better quality. Now, this is why their business model works like that. And yes, for some people, Angie's Yelp Home Advisor does work, but for most 80 to 85% of businesses, it doesn't really work the way that you guys want to. The second thing is the leads are very low intent. There's a lot of price shoppers. There's a lot of people that just want to get in, put in their information, just understand what the price is, but not move forward at all. They just simply want to browse and see what's kind of working and what's kind of happening. You have no control on the brand building. There's no branding there. There's no trust factor there. And us now moving into this day and age with AI, with social media, with marketing, there's one important thing that nobody else can take from you, which is your branding, which is who you are and how you speak and how you talk and essentially what you put out there. So branding is just one of those things that just can completely change the trajectory of your business. And you don't get any of that by working with these companies, just because it's the thing I mentioned earlier with the umbrella company, where these companies brand themselves. That's kind of how they get all their work coming in. You have no control over who you want. You can't choose a ICP. An ICP is a ideal client profile. You can't choose who you want to target. You can't choose the age ranges. You can't choose who essentially you want to work with. These people just simply get your information. They can call you at any point and you have to call them as soon as they come in. It's just very messy. And you essentially end up paying for every single lead, even if it is shit. So even if a lead is bad, even if they have no intent of moving forward, even if the number is bad, you end up still having to pay for that lead. Yes, some of these companies have a credit system where you can essentially get credits, but that's only set up that way you just keep working with them. For example, you get 10 leads from Angie's, 8 of them are really, really bad. You end up paying $400 to initially get those leads that are bad. They give you a credit. They end up giving you 400 in credits for Angie's. So you end up using the same platform again. That way, it just kind of keeps working in their favor. Now, the last thing is that it is not scalable. If anybody here watching this video or have used Angie's Yelp Home Advisor, it's never consistent in a way where you know how much jobs you're going to get, you know how much work you're going to get, you know how much money you're going to make. That's just not one of those things that you're able to do with one of these platforms because you don't know what needs to be put in to be able to get something out. It's so inconsistent that one week you might get 3 jobs. The second week, somebody might end up cutting you out and you might not get that job, and this and that, things might start happen. It's just not scalable because you don't know what's going to work and what's not going to work. You can't just put more money into Angie's and expect it to working when other people can do the same. There's no real strategy there, essentially. And now, with that said, obviously, I'm not trying to put down any of these companies. Obviously, they've been around for many, many years and they're working for some people. And if you enjoy their services and you're happy to do this, even with the downsides that you have, well, then I'm more than happy for you guys to do it as well, right? That's just the honest opinion of kind of what people have said and what people have initially on a result of by using these companies. The thing that you actually need as a company, as a brand wanting to make multi-million dollars and get to consistent jobs every single week is consistent quality appointments. Like, there shouldn't be any chasing on your guys' end. This should be somewhat of a way of you guys getting estimates, appointments, inspections, whatever it may be on your guys' calendar consistently. That is the only way the business grows. 80 to 90% of business is acquisition. And what that means is that if your business is not acquiring, if it doesn't have the acquisition side of things, well, then your business is essentially dying. So in a business, and everybody watching this is most likely has business within the fencing industry, you have your acquisition, you have your estimating, you have all that sales side, and then you also have the delivery where you actually go out and build a fence. Most guys, you don't have an issue with building the fence and getting a really nice fence up and getting good reviews because that's easy for you guys. It's simple, it's straightforward, right? Also with estimating, it's the same thing. You guys know the cost of your material. You guys know what you guys are going to quote homeowners. You guys know how much you guys are going to pay the crew. Like, it's very simple and straightforward. The main issue comes down to getting these consistent quality appointments on your calendar. If you were to ask yourself right now, if I were giving 10 estimates a week, every single week consistently, how much money would I be making? It's probably a lot more than what you are doing right now, just because you just need to be in front of more people that want to get the job done. The first issue. Right? Second thing is quality homeowners that want to work with your company, not just comparing. This is where branding initially comes in. So as you can see here, there's no brand building here. This is where companies want to get to you guys, work with you guys, just because you guys are the go-to company. When you brand yourself, you are able to frame and position yourself as the go-to company, the experts in the area, and have people come to you rather than you guys go to them. And when you have people coming to you guys, there's a completely different value distribution where they're going to start looking at you guys as the experts. And you guys can initially choose your prices. You guys can choose who you want to work with. These guys, they don't want to just go out and compare bids. They want to work with your company because it's your company. That is what happens when you build a brand. Now, the third thing is that leads are 100% exclusive. You guys don't want something where leads are essentially shared with 5 other guys, where they're shared to 10 different companies, and essentially whoever calls the first, they are able to get the lead. That doesn't work because 98% of the time, you guys are on job sites. You guys are out there installing a fence. If not, you're busy managing the team that is installing the fence. You're doing work. You don't have time to pick up the phone and dial people as soon as they come in. And even if you do, 90% of the time, the guy's picking up, you give your quote, you're going to have to wait regardless because they're getting called by 10 different guys. And from a homeowner's perspective, what do you think is going to happen? They don't understand the value and the service that you guys put in. They don't know nothing about your company. For them, you're just one of 8 people reaching out. And whoever of those 8 people reaching out gives the lowest quote, that's who they're going to go with. You got to look at it from a homeowner's perspective, right? And when you build a brand, when you build a positioning that you are essentially able to for yourself and nobody else can copy, that is when you stop getting these bad leads and these lower tire kickers. You start getting actually quality people coming in. The fourth thing is the scalability, right? You're able to literally make millions with this. It's not capped. Right? I'm going to go ahead and show you, and we're going to break down some numbers later down towards the end of this video, actually going over what I mean by that. And the last thing is obviously something that I already kind of went into, which is that it builds your brand. It positions you as the trusted authority in your market over time. And I promise you guys, this has the biggest snowball effect. Once you provide so much value, you become this brand, you become this persona online, it has this snowball effect that you won't have unless you don't have it. If you're unknown to your market area, if people don't know about you, if your area doesn't know you exist essentially, and you can have the best service in the world, but if there's no one to service, what are you going to deal with it, right? So that's what you actually need, right? And this is the outcome of something like that. And it is literally a money printing machine. It's something where you can put in a couple dollars, you put it into the machine, and you get 5-10x back. That is the exact strategy that we're looking for here. Now, the outcome of doing it in a way like this is by getting consistent appointments instead of wasting time chasing leads. You are able to hire more sales reps. You're able to get out of the position where you have to go out, give the estimates. You have to go out, build a fence, where you can start actually outsourcing that and becoming the owner of the company and having that freedom that you initially wanted when you started the company, right? You can actually focus on growing the company. You can do the tasks initially are the biggest ROI for yourself. Right now, if you're a smaller business, yes, you have to take those steps, but it's very possible if you put the right systems in place, because you don't want to be a one-man show for the rest of your life. I'm assuming you don't want this to be one of those businesses where you end up working a lot more than a corporate job. That is realistically why everybody starts a business, is because of the freedom and the financial freedom, the time freedom, and essentially being able to do the stuff that they want to do, right? So focus on growing the company. You don't have to rely on word of mouth. You don't have to rely on door knocking. You don't have to rely on people referring you. You don't have to be on this inconsistent roller coaster if you don't want to. That's essentially what we want to make sure. Now, the last thing is also becoming the go-to company in your area. You brand yourself and position yourself correctly. And I promise you guys, this is not just posting a couple pictures here and there. This is actually doing it with strategies that have worked across the nation. To be able to do so, it is a game changer, right? It is a game changer to be able to do so and actually put those strategies in place. The last thing is that it actually increases the business value, right? Nowadays, social media and personal branding and doing any type of stuff online is literally the new era of real estate. Every single video or essentially picture or whatever you put out in social media, it can pay you dividends for a very, very long time. For example, there's something in the marketing world, and maybe some of you guys are familiar with it, called CAC, cost to acquire a client, acquisition, right? Now, whenever you have a video or something on social media, essentially you're spending your time putting that out, but the CAC is zero. You're not spending any money on it, right? For example, this video that I'm recording right now, in all honesty, might result in me adding 10, 15 more clients to my business. It might do so. In the same time, it might end up adding a lot more than that. And I don't know if that happens tomorrow. I don't know if it happens in 6 months, but right now we're building a brand that is able to sustain for the next 5, 10, 15 years because we're in here for the long term. And that is what I want to push on to people I work with as well, is that build that brand. Right? You are increasing the business value. It is literally today's day and age of real estate, and it's just going to be a big benefit in the future. So please push on your brand. Make sure that you're able to do that. It's only going to be positive. Now, I'm going to walk you guys through the actual steps that you need to be able to take to be able to do so. And then towards the end of this video, I'm going to go ahead and show you the numbers behind this and how everything works. So the first step is to prepare. And so obviously, if you're watching this, you already have a business name, you have a business website, you have the basics down. Right? You want to make sure that you first and foremost have a Facebook profile. Right? So you have a Facebook profile. This is an example. You can put in a quick description there. You can put in the initial areas that you service, the phone number, the email. You can put in some reviews here as well. The second thing is a Google My Business profile. Have a Google My Business profile. Have your initial your reviews in there, have your website there, have your phone number there, put in when you're open. And then the last thing is have a landing page. Now, a landing page doesn't have to be a landing page that is difficult to kind of see and understand how it's working. It has to be super simple and straightforward. Literally just a logo with a call out and then a calendar. That is all you would essentially need. The second step is to post content. So this one is going by itself, but let's see, let's stop right here. Move myself up here. Second step is content, okay? Quick content. If that's, you can start posting photos of your work. You can start creating these on ChatGPT, whatever you want to do. That's super easy. I'm going to post a tutorial on doing that as well. You can make these videos as well.
Your home deserves a fence as strong and beautiful as your family memories. We specialize in crafting privacy fences that add charm, security, and value to your property. Ready to secure your home? Click the button below to get your free estimate and let us transform your outdoor space into your dream haven.
Yep, super simple, straightforward content. You can do that. You can have it in the back end as well, like these type of videos. There's a lot of things that you can kind of do and test with it. And then essentially just make sure that you have that in place as well. I don't know why this one is keeping to do this. There we go. Photos as well is super, super important. Push content as much as you can. If you're comfortable on the initial video side of things, you can always post content of yourself as well. And I'm looking to, in the next future videos, make like a full detailed video and breakdown of how to do that as well, because that is also very, very important. And it's something that people don't really emphasize a lot. The third step is to have a landing page. So I'm going to show you guys this one. Let's hope it shares the screen on your guys' end as well. I'm not sure if it does. what I'm going to do is I'm going to add that clip in here as well. So I'll just add it right now. Now, this is how simple that you can have a landing page looking. You don't need it to be something super crazy. You don't need it to be something super out of the ordinary. Just something big and bold. Put a company name in there, have a calendar in there, and then just have like this tab. This looks a lot better on the phone as well. It kind of glitches out on here. Have a privacy policy, have a terms of service. And I promise you guys that you don't need anything more than this. Like you literally just have an option here. You choose the time, and all you do, I typically have on a VPN. So let me just turn this to the US again. That way it makes more sense. You simply just put in your full name, the phone number, the address. You put in the main reason for offense. This is like the thing that you want to have in your calendar as well. You put in the project urgency, how soon somebody wants to get going, and then they can write in something more. And then essentially they can schedule their free estimate. These are the main things that you want to kind of know before you book anything in or anything like that, just because it just makes a lot more sense. And that's just how simple you have it. Like super simple setup. This style of landing page is the one that is working the best for us. Obviously, I've seen people do crazy stuff with landing pages, but you honestly don't need to when you're doing something like this. You can have something super simple like this, build it out, and it's good enough to be able to get stuff running and to be able to get work coming in. I'm gonna zoom back into the rest of the video so you guys can watch and tune in right there. And then now I'm back. I'll just walk you guys through the landing page. That way it's a lot easier to see because I wasn't able to access it through here. Over the fourth step and one of the final steps we're going towards now is to launch ads. So we want to do ads, we want to do advertisements. Maybe some of you guys have tried or tested some type of Facebook ads before. However, there's a specific way and strategy that you want to do it now in 2025, moving into 2026, and even moving forward from there when things are changing a little bit, is to target, obviously, the area that you want to target. You want to make sure that you drop the pin in the correct place, go a 20, 30, 40-mile radius. You want to initially post the ads with the ad copy, the initial ad creatives as well. You want to put everything in here. You want to make sure that you target the right place, you target the right homeowners, and this is where you do that as well. So ideally, you want to target based on a age range of 30 to 65 plus is typically what we do. You want to make sure that you can initially put in some detailed targetings as well. Obviously, add in all genders. That way you don't miss out on specific ranges that you want to do. These are just the basic step. And then obviously with the content paired up with this, it is super simple to just set up an ad and get it going and then start getting leads in from there. Most important thing and the most difficult thing isn't really setting the ads up and running the ads. It's more so understanding what you need to change and when you need to change it, and also understanding what to do with the leads after they initially come in, right? Because it's not as easy as just getting the leads in and calling them and then boom. You have to have the proper systems in place to be able to make it work in the back end as well. Super, super important. And again, I'm going to have videos covering that as well. The average KPIs right here is something I wanted to go over with you guys. So these are just for like reference. These are averages, okay? It depends on your area. It depends on what you service and mostly your market, right? The average cost per lead we see is $13 cost per lead, which means that it costs $13 to acquire one lead. Now, as mentioned, this depends. We've had clients get $5, $6 cost per leads. We've even had clients get $40, $50 cost per leads. It really depends on the area you're in. However, we're going to base it off of the average KPIs. Other than that, the lead to contact rate usually stays the same. The KPI that we typically go for is around 80%. So 80% of the leads that we get in, we are able to reach and are actually real leads. The contact to appointment ratio is around 50%. So 80% of the leads coming in, around 50% of them, we are able to actually book into an appointment. The other ones we're not able to because that's the numbers work. The fourth metric is the appointment to show metric, where how many of these appointments that we booked in actually show up to the estimate or actually open the door, actually talk with you guys, is around 80%. The closing rate that we typically see is around 30%. I know there's a lot of people that would emphasize, hey, we're going to do 80%, 90% close rate. The way that you have to think about this is that these leads are not near enough the ratio that you see with referrals, right? Referrals, they've heard about you, they know about you for 10, 15, 20 years for a long, long time, right? And there's somebody referring you guys to them. With these leads, the difference is that they know you, they like you, and they trust you. So it's a lot closer to the referral quality. But then obviously, I'm not going to be here and say they're going to be referral quality because that's just, it's not possible. they're going to be good quality, and that's why you're going to be able to see a 30% close rate and not a 15-20%. We've had guys close 60-70%. And in the back end, when we do work with someone, we provide a full like training on how to get a super, super high close rate of how our biggest companies that are performing the best are able to do so. And so essentially 30% close rate is pretty standard. If we're doing an example of 1,500 a day, 1,500 advertising spend throughout the month, with a $30 cost per lead, we can see around 115 leads coming in. We can see around 92 contacts. 92 people have been contacted. We can see that around 46 of them have been booked into an appointment. Now, these are, keep in mind, all based on the KPIs, the average percentages. 37 of them actually show up and actually have an estimate. And based on a 30% close rate, that is 11 closes. That is 11 jobs closed in 1 month. Now, yes, you spend more, you get more. If you double your spend on this, those closes turn into 22. And at the same time, if your show to close rate, if your close rate goes higher, if you end up closing 50%, that's a lot higher as well, right? If you end up closing 60%, you end up doing 22. So these are all basics and averages, but this is on average what we see when it comes to these type of results. Okay? Now, as you can see here, the average new install might be around 1,500 to 2,000 in profit, depending on where you live, obviously, and depending on what the average fence is. But national average typically is around 3,500 to $4,000 revenue, and profits 30 to 40%, 35 to 40% is typically what we see. You might be higher, you might be lower, but if we base it off of 1.5K to 2K profit per fence, you're on average seeing a 13x return on investment. What that means is that whatever dollar you're putting in into the machine, you're getting 13 times back. You put $1 in, you get $13 back. You put $100 in, you're getting $1,300 back. Right? You put $1,000 in, you're getting 13,000. You put 10,000 in, you get 130,000. You put 100,000 in, you get 1.3 billion. You guys understand what I'm saying. And this is what I tried to emphasize on earlier in the video, where you can't do this with Angie's. You can't do this with Thumbtack. You can't do this with Home Advisor because you don't know what you're getting by the money you're spending. However, with a system like this, you know exactly what you're going to get if you put $1 in, and that is going to be the exact same that you're going to get if you put $10,000 in, just because it's the machine is the most important thing. That is what we're able to do here with this strategy. That is the full walkthrough of the video. I hope this was a lot of value for you guys. If you have any questions, feel free to book in a call with myself. Under this video, there's going to be a calendar link to book in a call. It's a free strategy session with myself. Obviously, if you're a company that does fence or deck, or even both, I do have something to sell you. Obviously, I do work with you guys. However, if you just want to jump on the call and you want to ask a couple questions or you need any help, I'm always happy to help. Like, I never force people to make any type of decision. So if you jump on the call and you literally are running ads yourself and you need us to look it over and you need me to help you and put some key pointers out or help you with some content, whatever it is, any type of questions, book through. I'll spend an hour with you. We'll go over everything, whatever you need help with. If you do want someone to help you out working with this, 100% we're the guys to go with, and I'm going to make sure that we are able to get very, very similar results with you guys and make sure that you guys become the go-to fence company in your guys' area. Hope this was a lot of value. Again, feel free to book through. I'm going to leave you guys with that, and I'm going to start posting these videos maybe once a week, hopefully. That's like the goal for starting off, and just to provide as much value. So if you don't want to work with us, or if you don't want to implement any of this specifically right now, subscribe to the video channel, turn on the notifications, and make sure to just tune in every single week that I post, because the goal with this video is just to provide as much free value as we can and just kind of put as much as we can out there so that you guys can stay on top of marketing in 2025, 2026, know exactly what's happening and what to do to be able to grow your company in the right direction. Hope you guys got a lot of value out of this. Feel free, book a call if you want to. Hope you guys have a great rest of your week and a beautiful, beautiful day tomorrow. Wish you guys the best. We will talk again very, very soon. Peace out.